It's a lot easier to take home.
Never forget, with 2 spoons of butter in every pack, you can really taste the butter. In Golden Crown.
I did that. It was nice of her to do that.
I didn't know they did that. Someone else did all that.
I'm glad they don't do that.
At Thomson, we spend 52 weeks a year, making your 2 weeks perfect.
Hang out and make some truly fantabulous friends in a new 70s San Francisco saga.
I'm Anna Madrigal.
You're a foxy lady. You break hearts.
Mouse, I'm single.
I'm Beecham.
You were a lawyer?
Oh, yeah.
Where life's a party
I love you, goddamn.
and the aim is love.
I love you a lot, Mona. I know a little place up the coast.
Make a date to check out the hot spots and tales of the city, starting 28th of September on Channel 4.
Can air traffic control keep control of the accelerating volume of planes in the sky? When too many travelers, too fast technological change, too large traffic volume become too much. Equinox takes a close look at the complex world of international passenger aircraft control. It's your flight in their hands. Are they able to cope? Equinox, Sunday at 7 on Channel 4.
Known for a season of films by movie mogul D.W. Griffith begins with his controversial epic, The Birth of a Nation. The musical score to this newly restored version was composed by John Lanchbury and not Carl Davis, as stated in the press. The film is introduced by Paul Gilroy.
Tonight, for the first time on British TV, we have a chance to watch W.D. Griffith's epic film from 1915, Birth of a Nation. A film recognised as the founding moment of Hollywood, a film described as the eighth wonder of the world, and a film which set new artistic and technical standards for the medium of cinema when it was released. It's also a film which has been controversial because it's a film which supports and affirms white supremacy. The film looks at the American Civil War and the period after it from a Southern point of view. It combines a kind of revisionist account of slavery and of the period following slavery, when the North vanquished the slaveholding states, with a family romance. The film begins by suggesting that America's troubles originate in the importation of blacks, the importation of Africans into America. The film ends by demonstrating in a very, very powerful way the necessity of racial separation. The film, in a sense, initiates a kind of taboo around intimacy between blacks and whites, which is still a living and central part of the Hollywood myth. One of the strongest threads in the film is this idea that black sexuality is a rampant, chaotic force menacing the pristine, virginal white womanhood of the South. Now, that idea of sexualizing the question of race, of infusing it with sexuality, of offering the image of the black rapist and the white woman as a kind of lens through which the whole process of racial politics and history should be examined, is something that we have to understand very carefully, and is something which begins in terms of its visual culture with this film. When the film was first shown, there was a bitter reaction of shock and outrage from the black communities, who immediately recognized it as a work of propaganda which went beyond simply retelling that phase of American history from a Southern point of view into an enthusiastic endorsement of white supremacy itself. From the other side, the film was immediately fastened onto as a useful expression of those Southern sentiments, those white supremacist viewpoints. And it's no surprise to find that the film is implicated in the history of the Klan itself. The film presents the Klan as a kind of cleansing force, brushing aside the chaos and destructiveness of the blacks who've been brought into the political process. Griffith's intentions when he made the film were mixed, I think. Dixon, the close associate of his who had written the original screenplay, on which certainly the second half of the film was based, was someone who was open in his white supremacy. Perhaps Griffiths is more paternalistic, more sentimental in his relationship to the South and Southern rights. And actually, Griffiths' position on the film and on its status changed substantially. He was prepared to make cuts in the film to remove some of the more excessive scenes apparently of castration and deportation, which were cut. As people watch the film, I expect them to be outraged and upset, unless, of course, they're white supremacists, in which case they'll probably be delighted and happy. I'd like people to be able to combine in their watching of the film a kind of critical understanding of the dynamic emotional processes at work that solicit their enthusiasm, which offer them forms of pleasure in the heroic activities of the Klansmen as they ride into the soundtrack of Wagner. I'd like people to be able to criticize those images at the same time as understanding the artistic and technological power of the film. Now, this is a difficult thing to do. Mostly when we're confronted with a racist object like this, the tendency is either to deny its racism and exalt its artistic character and say the great artistic qualities of this negate the racism involved, or to say that the racism, the white supremacist positions which are openly celebrated in the film somehow undermine its artistic character. What I'd like people to do is to be able to combine both of those things, to understand what was special about what Griffiths was doing, what was new in the medium of cinema of what he was doing, and then be able to understand how those extraordinary achievements became associated with a white supremacist politics. Now, one doesn't cancel the other one out. It's very difficult to hold them both together, but that's the challenge of watching Birth of a Nation now.